If I ask you to think of the most famous love story of all time, what will pop up to your mind? Probably, Romeo and Juliet will be the first few stories you may think of. You must have heard of the name, but do you really know what the story is about? To begin with, let me introduce the main characters in the story. This is Romeo, and she is Juliet. Apart from the two main characters, we also have Lord Montague, Romeo's father, and this is Lady Montague, Romeo's mother. There is a prince in the story who is the ruler of Verona, where the story takes place. Mercutio is a relative of the prince, who is also Romeo's friend. Benvolio is another Romeo's friend. He is also the cousin of Romeo. And this is Romeo's servant. This is Lord Capulet, Juliet's father, and this is Lady Capulet, Juliet's mother. Juliet has a cousin who's called Tybalt. This is Juliet's nurse. She takes care of Juliet since she was a baby. And this is Court Paris. He is a relative of the prince as well, and he is the fiancé of Juliet. This is Friar Lawrence, and this is Friar John. Now you have known all the characters in the story. Let the story begin. In Verona, a town in North Italy, two big families, the Montagues and the Capulets, hate each other. Young men from the two families often fight on the street. Romeo is a young man from the Montagues. These days, he often locks himself in his room and spends the night crying and sighing. He is sad because he is in love with a woman called Rosalind, but she does not love him back. Juliet is a young lady from the Capulets. Her mother wants her to marry a young man called Paris, but Juliet has never met him before. Juliet says, "I want to see him first and see if I like him." So, a ball is held in the Capulet mansion. Guests need to wear masks to the ball. The Montagues are not invited, but Benvolio thinks it is a good opportunity for Romeo to meet some new girls and forget Rosalind. Although Romeo believes no one can be more beautiful than Rosalind, he still goes to the ball with Benvolio and Mercutio. At the ball, Romeo sees Juliet. She takes her mask off, and Romeo is in love with her immediately. Romeo takes Juliet's hand and brings her to a quiet corner. Do you want to know how Romeo tricks Juliet into kissing? Not just once, but twice. Here is the conversation between Romeo and Juliet at the quiet corner. "Sorry for being so rude, but your beauty is heavenly. My lips become two pilgrims who follow and worship your beauty. Now, let them smooth their rough touch with a kiss." But the pilgrim doesn't kiss the saint's hand. He presses his hand against the saint's hand. That's the way they kiss. But don't saints and pilgrims have lips too? Yes, but they only pray with their lips. Oh, then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. I'm praying for you to kiss me. Please make my prayer come true so that I will always believe in God. Well, saints never move even when they're answering your prayer. Then don't move when I'm making my prayer come true. They kiss. Your lips wash away my sin. That means my lips now have your sin. That's too bad. Give me my sin back. They kiss again. You kiss like you've learned it before. They look at each other. Juliet, your mother wants to talk to you. Now, let's see what the scene is like in the movie.
A rose will bloom, then will fade. So dies a youth, so dies the fairest maid. If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle sin is this: my lips, two blushing pilgrims ready stand to smooth the rough touch with a gentle kiss. Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much. Which mannerly devotion shows in this? For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palms holy palms kiss. Have not saints lips, and holy palms too? Aye, pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer. Oh then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray. Grant thou, lest faith turn to despair. Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake. Then move not. While my prayers offend, I take. Thus, from my lips, by thine, my sin is purged. Then have my lips a sin that they have took? Sin from my lips? Oh, trespass sweetly urged. Give me my sin again. A rose will bloom, it then will fade, so dies the youth, so dies the fairest maid.
After that, Romeo finds out that the girl he just kissed is from the Capulets. Juliet also finds out the boy she kissed is from the Montagues. After the ball, Romeo does not go home with Benvolio and Mercutio. He creeps near the Capulet mansion. Juliet walks out onto her balcony and says, "Oh, Romeo, Romeo, why are you called Romeo?" Romeo comes out and talks to Juliet. He asks Juliet to marry him. Juliet says, yes. Then Romeo goes home. The next day, Romeo goes to find a monk called Friar Lawrence. He asks Friar Lawrence to hold a secret wedding for him and Juliet. Friar Lawrence agrees to help. Romeo asks Juliet's nurse to tell Juliet about the wedding. That afternoon, they get married. Later that day, Tybalt wants to have a fight with Romeo, but Romeo refuses to fight. Mercutio wants to fight, so he fights with Tybalt. Romeo tries to stop them, but Tybalt stabs Mercutio and he dies. Romeo is angry, so he picks up his sword and kills Tybalt. Meanwhile, Juliet is in her room. She cannot wait to meet Romeo at night. Then the nurse comes in and tells her Tybalt is dead and Romeo is banished from the city because he kills Tybalt. Romeo spends his last night with Juliet and leaves the city. The next morning, Juliet's parents tell her to marry Paris. Juliet argues with her father, but there is nothing she can change. Juliet goes to see Friar Lawrence and asks him for help. Friar Lawrence gives Juliet a bottle of potion. He asks Juliet to drink it before her wedding with Paris. Then she will look dead and be moved to the family tomb. Also, he will write a letter to Romeo, so Romeo will go to the tomb and meet her when she wakes up. Juliet does what Friar Lawrence told her to do. The next morning, Juliet is found dead and is moved to the family tomb. However, Romeo does not get Friar Lawrence's letter. He just hears from his servant that Juliet is dead. So he buys a bottle of poison and goes to Juliet's tomb when night comes. At Juliet's tomb, he meets Paris. Paris does not let Romeo get into Juliet's tomb, so they fight. Romeo kills Paris. Romeo kneels next to Juliet's body and drinks the poison. He kisses Juliet one last time and dies. Juliet wakes up and sees that Romeo is dead. Juliet stabs herself with a knife and dies. Lord and Lady Capulet arrive and see all the dead bodies. Lord Montague soon arrives and says that his wife died when she heard that Romeo was banished. Friar Lawrence explains everything. The death of the young lovers makes Lord Montague and Lord Capulet agree to end their family fight. So this is the story of Romeo and Juliet.